YouTube. Hi YouTube, what's going on? It is Dean, the Dungeon Master, back again for another Cursed Ones recap. And hello to everyone tuning in on stream right now. I really appreciate you guys showing up. Let me just quickly mix the volume because it would not be anything Cursed Ones related without volume mixing troubles. But, without further ado, hello! Welcome to Cursed Ones 501. This is the show where you, the audience, get to catch up on whatever the fuck is happening in Cursed Ones. The last time we did this was, like, a year ago. So it's been well overdue at this point to get back to the Cursed Ones recaps, and I'm very excited to have another one ready for you guys. Of course, this is the show where we kind of subtly go in depth on things that are important. I'm not going to go very deep into characterization in this slideshow, and I highly recommend for the full Cursed One experience, if any of these arcs interest you, feel free to head back and watch a couple of sessions in them. I'll be giving session recommendations throughout the stream as key major sessions that you should consider watching if you want to get into Cursed Ones as a whole. But this should be a good supplement for those who don't have enough time to watch 158 episodes of Cursed Ones, which I fully understand. I don't have that time either. So, to make your lives easier, to make my lives easier, and to get some new people into Cursed Ones, hopefully, let's jump in just a second here. Quick housekeeping, of course. These 501, 101, these 01 Cursed Ones lessons are also acting as a live Q&A session. So if you have any questions for the DM, or hell, I mean, I know that there's some players who are like active and online right now. If you have any questions for the players of this game, I can probably try and contact them. I'm in the Discord right now, so one of them can theoretically come jump scare me in the middle of this stream. And they probably will, knowing my players. I love them to bits. But I suppose we start every Cursed Ones episode off with an introduction, so let me introduce myself. Oh god. I am Dean. I just came back from a tattoo session, and there is ink right here, and I just slapped it. So if you want to know, you know, where I'm at mentally, that's where I'm at. But I'm Dean, I'm the Dungeon Master. I run this homebrew game. I love this world, I love my players, and it's just an absolute fucking joy. Of course, throughout this stream, I will be shouting at all of the players, but just for those who tune into the Twitch stream, just in case you weren't aware before, if you scroll down to the About Lissy Loops section of the Twitch stream, you'll see the Cursed Ones credits is linked underneath the description of who I am and what's going on. I really recommend checking that out. It is yet to be updated with the 2 new players who, for those watching this, right now on the YouTube who haven't seen the last session on Twitch, sorry, they're getting uploaded in reverse chronological order, but get used to these faces, you're going to be seeing them very soon. But yeah, without further ado, I don't know if there's anything else I really need to mention here. Let me just quickly go over some housekeeping and see if there's anything. No, I don't think there is. So here's the thing, I don't know how well this whole streaming a PowerPoint slide is gonna do. I know it was really scuffed last time I did it, so please bear with me as we go through the Cursed Ones tradition of some technical issues. If you are tuning in on the YouTube, there should be timestamps up as to when I skip past this shit, so make sure to look out for those. But for those watching on Twitch, you get the whole fucking experience. Fuck you. So... with love! So let's jump right in as I sip my Gatorade because I've lost a lot of blood today because of tattooing, no other reason. Alright, so let me just make sure, let me put on my fucking glasses, and we'll get started with the hopefully very informative "What the fuck are you doing here" crime. Crime? Oh, you're here to attend? Okay, you know what? Hold on. Let me get your audio in if you want to attend. You are absolutely allowed to come attend Cursed Ones 101.
I want to hear the updates. I'm an old man.
Yeah. I don't know if you're watching the stream right now, but I can also I can scream it to you.
Scream.
Oh god. Yeah, well, welcome to the stream, Crime. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Let me just make sure I'm muted. Yeah, okay, I'm muted on my online class. Good. Fuck, I had to make sure I was muted. I'm attending school.
You're-
Hi guys, it's me. I'm Crime. I play Benny. I've been here since the beginning.
Yeah.
And my teacher in the background is teaching me how to do cinematics.
Ooh, a big old cinematic student. So
Yeah.
you're free to add comments as we go. Now that you're here, I guess this is now opening the door for any other Cursed Ones player if you want to join this fucking VC. Fuck you. This is Crime and I's show now.
Yeah.
Woo! But without further ado, I guess, are we ready to jump into Cursed Ones 501? Oh god, Chance is here.
Chance.
I'm here too.
Chance is also here. Look, it's like everyone's here for a little school lesson. That's so cute. Okay, I will also stream on the Discord for you guys so you can see the slideshow.
Yippee!
So now that class is officially in session, are we ready to begin?
Yes, teacher.
Yes. I can't.
Yes, Professor Dean.
Professor Dean is ready to teach. And if you guys are watching this stream, could you let me know if the slideshow is like working on there? So yeah, hopefully it is working.
Yep, it's working on there.
Okay, swag. So when I do this following transition, let me know if it actually works on stream. And you know, let's fucking jump right into it. Why don't we? So, starting off with every single recap, we have to go through the honorable and inaugural thing where we have to introduce and reintroduce all of the characters in Cursed Ones because the cast is constantly changing and everything is happening all the time. So just to confirm, can you guys see the current slide on the stream?
Yep.
Okay, swag, it's working. Now I don't have to worry about audio, technical issues. I do have to worry about audio issues though. They are perpetual and they are endless.
Oh, like on the actual Twitch
on the
stream?
live stream, yeah.
No, I do not. I am sorry.
Oh,
Anguish.
you're telling me that the PowerPoint slideshow is not showing the PowerPoint slideshow? Hold on, wait, hold on a second. My brain is massive. Wait, what if we just go back to the slide that has the Discord on it, and I just go to the live and make that? Oh my god, I'm so smart. Okay, it's gonna work. It works. Okay.
This is what the professionals do. I fucking live for this, dude.
Okay, Professor Dean, class is in fucking session. Welcome to Cursed Ones 501, everyone. And of course, we are going to start off by recapping the characters we all know and love. Starting off, of course, with the lovely Sharpay Ashes. Since we last left off, because who fucking knows what class and race everyone is anymore, it keeps changing, don't ask how or why. Sharpay is currently a Hexblood Fire Genasi Arcane Scorned fighter, going by the pronouns of she, her. Player is, of course, the lovely and intrepid Cece, who also goes by she, her pronouns. And their curse is Reverse Midas's Touch. Everything that is gold they touch turns to silver, everything silver turns to copper, and everything copper turns to dust. And as of now in the story, she is girl-bossing her way through her trauma, and she is severely failing. She has been waiting to get married since the sessions were numbered in the 30s, and they are now numbered in the 150-plus range. We still aren't at the wedding. Holy shit. Next up, of course, holy shit, Crime, it's you!
It's me, ya boy.
Benny Benjamin motherfucking Jets, the fallen Azamar celestial sorcerer slash battlemaster fighter. Holy fucking shit. Is that still accurate, by the way?
Yeah,
Okay.
God. I think you went back to Radiant after.
Yeah, but that's later in, and we'll get there.
Okay,
but
perfect.
As of now, I think that's accurate. The player, of course, is the lovely and amazing Emmet / Crime, he, him pronouns. And Benny's curse is Blood Moon Beast. Under the light of a blood moon, Benny transforms into a horrifying creature hell-bent on destroying things with high magical signatures. And dear God, just let this man nap. He's so tired. He swaps classes, Azamar subtypes, and subclasses more than I swap gender expressions. And his favorite activity is using the green flame blade. And officially, I think it's about time that we take note of the fact that he has graduated from being a DILF to a GILF. Congratulations, Benny.
Yay!
Next up is Lily the Noble, and welcome to where this starts to become a mouthful for me. Lily is a vampire elf 4 elements monk slash fighter. She, her. Player is Kiki, he, she. Their curse is Touch of Fear. Anyone they touch have to make a wisdom saving throw, DC 10, or start experiencing Lily's worst fears, which typically involve fire and, you know, losing her eyes, because both things are very bad for her. On the opposite side, on the flip side of that whole scenario, if Lily is touched by someone, she has to roll the wisdom saving throw, or feel their fears. Her art doesn't show it, but we recently discussed how she is constantly carrying 4 quarterstaffs on her back at all times. She is a certified blood detective and likes to drink people's bloods to see if they're, I don't know, related to Curse God. I'm sure that's reasonable. And people really have to stop asking her to look at things. She can't fucking see. All right, next up, haven't seen this face in a while for people currently watching the stream. This is Trial Forcea, the Dragonborn Storm Barbarian / Druid. They, them, he, him. The player is Eon, who goes by any pronouns. They currently don't have a curse. They are truly winning. They watch a demonic summoning and instantly think, I should call her. They are, of course, Mother Nature's favorite Dilf Daddy, and, you know, wild shaping into creatures that are CR 1.5 and lower at level 15 is action economically viable. Trust me on this one. Trust me. We're not even gonna get into the fucking mess that is just the level economy of Cursed Ones. It's going great. Next up we have Unknown. Unknown is the Warforged Chronergy Wizard, who goes by they, them pronouns. Their player is Snorpo9, he, him. Their curse is Unreliable Visions. Every single night they get 2 visions, which can either be true or false, and they have no way of telling. They are quite literally a vessel for trauma, and, you know, dang, it's kind of weird how there might be a mysterious biblical name surrounding this guy. Like, surely this will have no consequences for later lore developments. It surely won't. It will have consequences for later lore developments, just, you know, throwing that out there. Next up is Jordan Thruxternello. I never get over the fact that his name is fucking Jordan. He is the Lizardfolk Swashbuckler Rogue / Undying Light Warlock. Player, Egabuha, he, him. I didn't write it down, but Thrux's pronouns are also he, him. Their curse is Min-Max, the scourge of any actual min-maxer's dream. They get a random stat that is -5 and a random stat that is +5 at the start of every day. The chance of spontaneous combustion is low, but never 0. With Thrux, however, the chance of spontaneous combustion is significantly less low than normal. His dead 3-year-old brother is also in his necklace. Like, this is not the most fucked up aspect of him right now either. And currently, he is so full of guilt. And finally, for now, we have Ryder Fairwhistle, the Satyr Gunslinger Fighter, he, him, played by Cole Radical, the myth, the legend, rest in peace, he, him. No one will get that fucking reference if they're actually tuning in to 501 to catch up with where the series is, but you'll understand soon. We don't actually know Ryder's curse at this point in the story. He is just perpetually confused, hence why we have a whole emote surrounding Ryder being confused, and he just keeps running off and having his own side adventures like the fucking king he is. He has had more solo encounters than anyone else in the entire series, and he has been around for so much less time than everyone else. It is ridiculous. Oh, and just as a heads up for those who don't know, that little guy on his shoulder, his name is Walter, and he is everything to me. He also can Misty Step once per day. Ryder doesn't use this as much as he should. Let's jump into the story, shall we, now that we know our characters once again? And let's pick up where we last left off in the former recap, Cursed Ones 401, with the fight for death. So last time we left off, no one can die. Yeah, that kind of fucking sucks, because people left, right, and center are getting turned into these strange worm-like zombies as these metal worms start digging themselves into people's flesh and causing them to become brainless, not so much killing machines, because people currently can't seem to die, but I guess infecting machines. So, to solve this, they storm the mansion of a god, specifically Carmina Marigold, the goddess of sorting through death's paperwork, and sending to people, they basically send people to where they need to go in the afterlife. Oh hey, Grailed White, surely you're not here for any important reason. The party totally didn't forget to tell them about Wilfred's death, right? They totally didn't forget to tell this father about his son's death, did they? Yeah, they did. They forgot to tell him. So Grailed tried to kill Death so he could get his son back. a totally normal plan, as we can all probably agree. Unfortunately, it didn't go so well, so now there's evil Wilfreds running around everywhere, featuring horrifying auto-tuned Cole vocals, which is probably the pinnacle of my DMing, like, creative vision. So the party gets sad in the sad box while they're inside the mansion. They end up finding a room that they fall into by accident because they failed a puzzle, and the box just starts closing in on them, and they start losing oxygen, and they pretty much resign themselves to a life of perpetual non-existence. They get pretty sad in the sad box, but hey, Sharpay tries to fulfill her fantasy of getting married, and Lily unofficially officiates the wedding between Kelsey and Sharpay. Kelsey is not actually there. This still does not count as her actual wedding. It'll happen someday, trust me. Don't actually trust me ever. Never trust me. I love lying. So, in come these Wilfred-shaped embodies of death. Because, you know, they were in the sad box for a bit, but they got better. They got better. That's simply all I can say. But now, things are getting worse because these Wilfred-shaped embodiments of death are trying to fucking kill them. Thankfully, the party are simply better, and they take the W, and they are met with basically the control console for how people die. So, Unknown quite literally reprograms death. They program it so that people can die again regularly and are sent to the proper planes where they will pass on to in the afterlife. And additionally, you know, life itself truly is just a series of weird tubes when you think about it. And on top of this, Cooper gets a new body, Thrux's younger brother, who was kind of fucking dead, because Owen basically had the cheat console for life and death itself for a second there. They just decided, hey, this kid gets a new body for fun, for profit. So, after that, there is a massive explosion as the world basically kind of resets its rules on death, and everyone wakes up in the hospital, besides Ryder, who is in the sewer because he got lost. Wait. Who's this strange lost child? Yeah, there's this fucking kid running around out of nowhere, trying to find the cursed ones, and who the fuck is that? Well, she finds Walter, and they go down the sewers looking for Ryder. To which Ryder meets Arden Marlowe, my beloved. The human Kensei monk, she/her, played by Morg, she/her as well. Arden currently doesn't have a curse, and her philosophy in life is when life gives you lemons, use them as baseballs. Her happiness is as infectious as her swag, and her mom may be evil, but that's okay. This will not have any consequences ever. Roxanne Marlowe will never be mentioned again in the history of Cursed Ones. Trust me. You are also not immune to being befriended by Arden Marlowe. There is no one she can't befriend, and I am certain of this. And nothing bad will ever happen to her. This isn't a setup for tragedy. She is my Achilles heel as a DM. I don't think I can traumatize her. I've tried. So, just to note, this is about where Triao, Unknown, and Thrux all depart from the story and go off on their own little adventures off in the world. So now it is just Ryder, Sharpay, Lily, Benny, Arden. That's all, I think. If I'm missing someone, I'm sorry, I fucking forgore. So, Arden joins the party after a very thorough and scientific test. This test being Lily drinks her blood and goes, yeah, that's gold enough, you can join us. Which, I'm not gonna say is weird, but I'm gonna say it's weird. Hey, why do you have to have specific blood to join the Cursed Ones? Whatever, I'm not gonna question Lily's logic. That's for you guys to question, not me. I just run this shit show. So, we have +1 party member and -1 Kelsey. Yeah, Kelsey's fucking gone. They find this strange remains of a watery portal inside an alleyway that she was seen going down, and yeah, no, she's totally fucking kidnapped. Not to mention, there's a bunch of strange letters addressed to the Cursed Ones. And they're written gay as fuck. So it has to be Cornelius. Oh shit. Cornelius. Cornelius kidnapped Kelsey. Great! So, they pretty much have to get their show on the fucking road because Cornelius's curse has made him a wild card, so they go pick up a potion from Harrison Hayes, who is now redeemed, they meet God, who is Iliaya, and they head out. This series of events is shockingly average for the Cursed Ones at this point. That brings them to Across the Sea, where they board the Boreen 2, the Electric Boogaloo, which is not actually called that, it's called the Cogito Ergo Sum. The captain is Radha Talat, who is pictured on the side here. I love her to death. She's probably one of my favorite designs of an NPC in Cursed Ones. I love her drip. But interesting thing about this ship is there's a shockingly little amount of passengers on this, like, very commercial vessel meant to transport people between the continents. I know that we use the Pangea a lot to cross the continents, but the Pangea is actually not often used by the citizens of Cursed Ones. They typically, or the citizens of Ethos, they typically do use both, so there is a surprising lack of people on this boat. Speaking of passengers, why does this one passenger look so much like Ryder? But surely that's unrelated. Ravine Fairwhistle. Yeah, it is related. It wasn't not related. I lied. Once again, it's a very common theme. This is Ryder's mom, a former Curse War spy, Praveen Fairwhistle. And Ryder figures this out in a great way, that being Praveen stabs him in the neck with a soul knife that she has yet to turn solid in his neck, and then goes, "Hey, come talk to me, motherfucker. I'm your mom." Basically, she explains to him that Ryder was a no-good, very bad baby who did horrible, traumatic things. But also, Praveen was a very bad, no-good mom. She fucking abandoned her baby. But, you know, she's making up for it because she's teaching Ryder echolocation. Hey, why does it say that we're in a small room? We're on the top deck of a ship. Why does it feel like there's a multi-headed creature next to them? Surely it's nothing. You know what? Let's just pretend, there's probably nothing happening. Everything is normal in the Cursed Ones. Ominous happenings! Surely, it's just nothing. This is where the legend of the Funky Dimension Baby starts, because the party go down into the washroom gallows area of the ship, and they find a whole fucking placenta, which is surely nothing. Also, the ship log claims that there were more passengers, so why are there so few of them? Sharpay? I've never heard of her. Surely that means nothing, that none of the parties seem to remember someone who has been in the campaign literally since day one. Also, this young child claims that there's a creature on board and no one can see it. This child is also deaf, and surely that's nothing. A random ship also appears in the middle of the ocean, with severe damage and a person on board. Surely that means nothing. Oh shit. Oh shit, we know that person, because, oh god, I put fucking animations on this. Oh, of course I did. I'm so smart, guys. We know that person, holy shit. That's Hugo Never. He's back. He tried to cross the ocean to find Cornelius, like the fucking himbo he is, and he failed. He was quite literally on a raft made of like 3 logs. He's doing great. He's not doing great. He is incredibly injured and is blabbering about the world being a stage, which sounds kind of familiar, because that's Cornelius's curse. That's what it does. Unfortunately, no one on the ship has greater restoration to help him. If only they had a bard, or possibly a cleric, to help learn some kind of information from this severely injured and nonsense blabbling Hugo, but I mean, there's no cleric or bard on this ship, and surely one wouldn't just appear. One just appeared. This is Eros Schrödinger, the Tabaxi Order cleric / Valor bard. Their player is Roman, who goes by any pronouns, and I mean, we don't know if they have a curse. Well, isn't that convenient? Don't worry. Surely those golden eyes don't mean anything in Cursed Ones. I mean, golden eyes meaning anything in Cursed Ones? That's never happened before. He is just a little bard boy here to help. Never mind the fact that he wasn't on the Coquito Ergo Sum to begin with. And also, don't mind the fact that the stuffed animal that finds the youngest person within a 100-foot radius found Eros instead of, say, Arden, the 11-year-old, or the literal child on the boat who is 6 years old. Everything is normal about this cat. Everything is normal about this boat. Everything will be normal when they put in the handy-dandy earplugs. Uh-oh. It's not normal.
Oh my god, that's the best fucking panel I've ever seen.
It's not normal. Uh-oh. It's the false Hydra. Oh god, it's the size of the whole fucking boat. Also, it stole Sharpay and erased everyone's memories of her. It is a miracle she is not dead. It also keeps talking about Ryder as if he's its father. Maybe it just has a weird kink. Maybe we're just judging it. No, it legitimately does think that Ryder is its father for some fucking reason. It also kills a child in cold blood. The child that knew about it is offered up. The party know that the false Hydra is there, and the false Hydra, threatened by the party's knowledge, says, hey, if you do not give yourself up willingly to my song, I will kill this girl in front of you. Eros tries to divert the thing's attention, but it sees through Eros's tricks, and it snaps the kid in 2. Now that it's been figured out, it has one last chance to get its food. Oh, hi, Arden's mom! What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be plot relevant. You're just a totally normal mom who isn't evil. Oh, hi, Precipice! Why are you here? Working with Arden's mom. So the team-up of the century between Arden's mom, the Precipice, and the entire Cursed Ones party, as well as the remaining survivors on the ship, all band together to fight the false Hydra. Surely nothing will go wrong now. Uh-oh. It goes wrong. The ship fucking sinks. Full stop, it's gone. It's under the waves. And during this whole encounter, Ravine realizes that this is a lot like a dead zone from the Outlands. In fact, it is a dead zone. And all dead zones have a key, so what's the key? I don't know, maybe it's the guy covered in keys that the false Hydra keeps talking about. Yeah, Ryder, for some fucking reason, is the key to this dead zone. So, the party and the remaining survivors all grab onto Ryder and just fucking grip him, and they manage to escape the clutches of the false Hydra. Who, by the way, fun fact about the fate of the false Hydra, it was killed by beheading, which means more heads kept growing back. And the way that they killed it, and the way that it kind of like was positioned when it died, it is technically still in that dead zone, infinitely duplicating its heads. Somewhere in the world, there is a dead zone nuke of a false Hydra that is probably the size of a planet by now. Surely this will have no relevance later. Don't ask why I'm bringing this up. Don't fucking worry about it. So, now the party is drifting away. The ship sinks, and basically now that they're floating away in the water, Ryder is doing some fucking trigonometry to try and shoot a flare up in the air to find a boat, but it is not going well. And of all the things, including the false Hydra, hypothermia is becoming more and more of a TPK threat than it ever has a right to be in D&D. Well, at least the party won't have to die in, say, a historically based musical. I mean, that would fucking suck. Oh, hey, what's this whirlpool? Oh, fuck. God fucking damn it.
Fucking Hamilton!
God fucking damn it. It's Cornelius.
Oh my god.
Should have known.
It is Cornelius Cousteau Dupont Jaffray Cochet Chapelle Allaire Escoffier Bonhon Dutoit Bruno Dever. Fuck this guy's name. Oh, welcome back, Cornelius, the glamour bard and kraken warlock. He/him player, Cole Radical, of course, who also goes by he/him. His curse, as we all know, is the endless stage. He thinks the world is a stage play, and that he is the main character. He also now is home to the #1 cuntiest fit in Cursed One's history. Everyone give it up for Cornelius. He deserves this one. And he's truly adding an extra layer to the term drip. He simply wishes to put on a wonderful show! Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. Nothing will go wrong. He's also assembled a troupe called the Troupe of the Precipice. That's really sweet, isn't it? Like, there's nothing wrong with that name. The Precipice has no negative connotations in the Cursed Ones. He's just here to teach you important things about musical theater, such as the 3-act structure. Why did I do this?
Thank you, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
That's Cornelius. I don't know what you mean.
Thank you, unblued Cornelius.
Oh god, this transition. No. Welcome to the story of the Cursed Ones, which is very normal. So, Cornelius puts on a totally normal show following the story of the Cursed Ones. He may have had to change their backstories a bit, but creative liberties! He may have added in strange, moving, haunted mannequins, but creative liberties! And he may have self-inserted himself into every single part of the adventure, but that just totally happened to begin with. Also, I just feel the need to note, the party found an infinite item duplication glitch in D&D in this fucking arc. I have nowhere else to put this, but I need the world to know my pain and suffering. How the fuck did they do that? I have no words. I love this party. So let's introduce the troupe. We have Squish, Shudder, Nameless, Lorenzelot, Jenny Betts, Envy Ivy, and Kelsey Nerid, who suddenly starts singing about how much she hates Sharpay. And she also has golden eyes. Great. She is totally fucking possessed. Things are not looking good. And that's where the story gets a little bit less normal than it was before, because there is no OSHA in the undersea production of the Cursed Ones. For one, Lily almost drowns and burns alive in a puzzle trying to gain fake artifacts. An innocent man, Jesper, is cast as a victim of Hara and is straight up killed. They do manage to save him by... I can't fucking believe this party. By conveniently tapping a perfectly shaped hole big enough for a quarterstaff to fit through in the dome that they were currently in, so they could chuck a quarterstaff of Revivify through the perfectly shaped hole and hit Jesper in the head and revive him. This worked, by the way. I love this game. They also have a Battle of the Bands, to which a very, very special cursed beast is used in the Battle of the Bands, that being Frou Frou from the Feywilds. Ages ago, when Wilfred was a cursed beast, some random rich person called him Frou Frou and mistook him for his own cursed beast pet. Frou Frou was real, and that man was Lancelot, who gets absolutely demolished in the Battle of the Bands. I genuinely recommend watching this episode. I forget the exact title of it, but I'll check again after the slideshow. It's a really good one. Cece sings a little bit of Black Sheep, and it's so fucking good. So, going from there, Squish, the child, as part of the troupe, which is totally normal and OSHA certified, steals the Eye of the Prophecy from the party. And he decides, let's change this up a bit, let's have a space adventure. And he casts Hugo as a xenomorph. I promise I'm not a xenomorph fucker. I promise. I'm not a xenomorph fucker. Please believe me. Do you guys believe me? You believe me?
I believe you, Loops.
Thank you.
I don't.
So, Hugo's kind of fucked up. That art I showed of him earlier actually has some of those alien-ish features, but he's cast as a big bad evil alien, not specifically a xenomorph. I just like xenomorphs. I would fuck a xenomorph, I'm just saying. Envy, Ivy, then steals the eye. Envy wants to romance Cornelius? That's weird, but okay. It's almost like he's a little envious. Who could have seen that one coming? And in the midst of this absolutely apeshit encounter, Sharpay loses her ring. It falls off the side of this weird amorphous space-time distortion that Squish has made with the Prophecy Eye, and Sharpay, in the process, falls down a bottomless abyss, trying to save her ring. Her ring. Then Lily hears her voice. She manages to snatch back the Eye of the Prophecy, and it tells her, I can save Sharpay. Just put me in your eye. Lily does it. This will totally have long-lasting consequences, right? Right? It totally will. Please, God, let it have lasting consequences. I just want to do cool shit. And after this complete erasure of Cornelius's original vision for the story, for how this play was going to turn out, Cornelius breaks down. Welcome to the story of Oh Fuck. As the party are transported to this strange dimension created from Cornelius's fucked up brain called Backstage, they decide to have a quick long rest inside of Eris's Liamon's tiny hut, and then Arden proceeds to roll 2 natural 20s in a row and removes the Prophecy Eye from Lily's head. Yeah, it was there for like 2 sessions. I don't even know what to say anymore. I love this party, but how the fuck did they manage to do that? During it as well, they start going through these strange distortions of time and space, and in the process, Sharpay gets de-leveled. She's turned back to level 1, and they have another long rest to try and see if she can sleep it off and, you know, get back to where she normally was, but in the process, they learn just how deep her trauma is currently going, as she says goodnight to 1 instead of the party. Yeah, being turned evil and against your friends by one who no doubt tortured her for days straight, that's had a lasting impact. Holy shit. So, their inner demons are made, Their inner demons are made outer demons. Yeah. I'm doing a great job. Just like in the mini-games. The party have to fight these strange, synaptic static-ish versions of themselves that attack with mind-altering and warping abilities. And in the process, Hugo is hit with Feeble Mind. If you don't know the spell Feeble Mind, for 30 days, your intelligence, I believe your wisdom and your charisma, one of them isn't, I need to look up the spell, I know one of them isn't included. I think it's wisdom? Chance can probably correct me. To the internet!
Yeah, it's wisdom,
Wisdom, okay. So those are, all of them besides wisdom are reduced to 0, pretty much, and you can't speak audibly anymore, you can't understand anyone. The only thing you really remember is who is friend and who is foe. It is probably a spell I would consider something worse than death, and Hugo is hit by it. And then, to make things worse, the Precipice makes themselves known. The Precipice has been controlling Cornelius the whole time, and so the party band together to take it down. After having let it get away the first time, this time they don't back down. And they use everything they can. All of the party members, all of the people they picked up along the way, and the troop as well, who actually care about Cornelius and want to see him doing better, they all band together to stop the Precipice. And Cornelius fucking feeble-minds the Precipice in return because he is a high enough level to have an 8th-level spell, and he fucking uses it. It is amazing. And because it is reduced to basically a heap of nothing when they reduce it to its small eyeball state, it cannot reconstitute its godly form until Feeble Mind wears off. And I don't think anyone's gunning to Greater Restoration this thing. So for all intents and purposes, the Precipice is dead. However, before this can occur, something strange happens in the fight. Precipice utters something to Eros. Calls them Leviticus. When this name is said, Eros changes. They're ordered to help the party collect the final artifact. They're ordered to kill Kelsey. An order that they attempt to go through with, but thanks to Ryder's quick thinking, they are stopped just in time. That other mission that they... Well, let's continue with the recap, shall we? So, the Magnus sorry, it's not the Magnus Archives, trust me, it's nothing related to the Magnus Archives. I would never reference the Magnus Archives in Cursed Ones ever! They lived! Yay! Nothing's wrong! And in the process, they learn something interesting. After defeating the Precipice, Cursed Cornelius, which has also been called Stage Cornelius, it doesn't disappear. In fact, Stage Cornelius is an entirely new man. And Inner Cornelius, the one from before, is still nowhere to be seen. This news is broken to Hugo. As a quick note of reference, Feeble Mind cannot be cured by Greater Restoration at its base level. It has to be 9th level to cure Feeble Mind within the Cursed Ones universe. Very similar to another spell, Time Ravage. And, well, since they don't have 9th level spell slots yet, they can't cure Hugo. They can at least snap him out of it for about 10 minutes. Unfortunately, when they inform Hugo about Cornelius' state and that the Cornelius he loves isn't in there right now, that the Cornelius that is now there doesn't love him, Hugo asks them to put him back into Feeble Mind, to keep his mind away from the misery of that existence. But it's fine, because we get to go to Jesper's archive! Yippee! Jesper, that lovely lad. School trip! It's lovely because that little lad that they saved earlier just so happens to run an archive. And he decides to take them there for a hefty fee of nothing but friendship for Jesper, because Jesper is my beloved boy. So they get to the archive, and why are there people upstairs? Jesper says that he only has one roommate, but there are definitely more people talking upstairs, and none of them are his roommate. And his roommate supposedly doesn't have friends. Well, turns out his roommate was Lee Hostine, and Lee Hostine lied about not having friends. The people who are in the archive are Ellie Endeavor, Adrian Endeavor, Veldrin Voller, the whole shebang. All of the lads are here, and the friends are all reunited. And, you know, after everyone getting together and talking about what had just happened with the troop and Cornelius, and realizing that their adventure with the artifacts, they're down to just one left. Start making plans for a new tomorrow. To bed. Uh-oh, why is Lily's brain mom back? Yeah, so Lily's mom just keeps kind of appearing in her brain, but specifically when stuff keeps happening, and it was normally appearing when Unknown was around, so why is she back? And why is she leading Lily to the basement? And why is there a complete, like, perfect replica of Unknown in the basement that has a different serial number on it? That's weird. But probably normal. Hey, and why is Arden's mom here? This place is supposed to be warded from any oncoming danger. Yeah, so a lot is fucking happening, and needless to say, oh no. Everything is happening. First of all, Jesper and Lily get trapped in the basement by Roxanne. This basement has a bunch of cursed and fucked up artifacts, including that other model of Own. and a sword that supposedly belonged to Genesis. And alongside that, the girls are fighting. Elian and Veldrin are having a massive fight outside. Elian is accusing Veldrin of murder and memory wiping the party to have his way. Veldrin basically then says, "You just suck at wizarding," and they have a horrific fight. The two of them fighting to the brinks of their fucking lives, and because of Veldrin's curse, he is slowly turning into a beast with every single spell he casts. In this time, the archives are de-warded in an attempt from Jesper and Lily to get out of the basement, but yeah, this is opening up the archives for even more attacks. And in the midst of Elian and Veldrin's fight, Roxanne tries to kill them both in a Dark Star. Thank God, Lily, Jesper, and Sharpay get there in the nick of time, and they have a narrow victory over Roxanne by basically doing just a little bit of damage to her and standing in the way of the party. Not the party, Veldrin and Elian. They're part of the party as a treat. They manage to scare Roxanne away. Roxanne admits she is not under any orders to hurt the party. They are completely safe from her, for the time being. But Veldrin and Elian are in a desperate situation. Elian is on like 1 hit point, and Veldrin is actively turning into a beast. And no one knows where the rest of the party is. Because the Somnambulist is back! Yay! She has vengeance on the brain and new scars on her face from the last encounter with the party. And she is in the archives as well, fucking shit up. Ever since the wards went down, she's snuck in as well, looking for revenge. And Ryder and Arden are the one who find and deal with her. Coincidentally, they are the only party members in the archive that she doesn't know. And they manage to easily and swiftly take her down because she is an emotional fucking wreck. And in the process, they decide to do some impromptu appendage surgery, and they sever one of her needle arms, which are parts of her body. She is an Azamar. Those count as her wings. In the process, the Somnambulist stole the Precipice and Prophecy's eyes that Arden was carrying on her and tried to swallow them. But turns out eyeballs look pretty easy to choke on, so she has to spit them out. Kind of anticlimactic. The party asks what the fuck is she doing. She reveals she wants to cure curses by trying to turn into the Pantheon members. Because they can make curses, surely they can reverse curses. Okay, Somnambulist, whatever you say. And now we get to Not for Broadcast after all that chaos in one night, by the way. Not even one night, in 1 hour. It is time to talk. First of all, Ryder's curse. This keeps getting brought up, and according to the False Hydra, he made Dead Zones. Not to mention Praveen is also backing this up. Hey Ryder, what the fuck is your curse? Why did the False Hydra call you your father? And they basically come to the conclusion that Ryder A probably made the Outlands somehow, and B is in control of every Dead Zone. And then Eros' curse is brought into question because everyone is 99% sure this guy is a Curse God Sleeper agent. But hey, there is 1% chance he could just be a silly little guy. Additionally, Veldrin admits he has been memory wiping the party. But hey, apparently it was for the greater good. The greater good. Then more revelations keep happening. Lee and the Somnambulist are siblings. They are both Hostines. At this point, half of the party could secretly be working for Genesis because they all pretty much figure out, hey, we have a lot of connections to this guy. Both physical, mental, historical. In the midst of all of these revelations, Sharpay and Jesper send out a special spell that broadcasts their entire conversation to the world's most important leaders, figures, and news receptacles. Everyone knows what the party has said. They know Eros could be a sleeper agent. They know Ryder likely made the Outlands. They know Veldrin is a weird-ass wizard. They know that the party have worked with the Precipice to take down the False Hydra. They know all of this. Then, Somnambulist reveals that she drugged Benny on top of everything with a potion that sends him into the memory zone. And then Ryder says...
Sleep.
And then Ryder says, hey, now that you fucking doxed me on the internet to the entire world, I gotta go take care of my best friend Gilly, who's probably gonna be targeted. So now, the party has 2 choices. Guess the party will have to pick their primary objective and leave the others to fate, right? Right? The party split up. Allow me to repeat that. The party split up. Which is, I mean, I think as all dungeon masters know, probably the most stressful thing that can happen in D&D. You never want your party to split up. It is a recipe for disaster. And nothing good can ever come of it, surely, because most encounters are designed for the entire party, and not for them to be split up. And there's only 8 people in the party, so that means it's groups of 4, and they're bringing along NPCs as well. But what good are the NPCs, really? This is not gonna go well. It's okay. We're gonna go one at a time. I got you. I love you. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna go through both of these split up arcs. It's gonna be completely normal. I would never do anything to hurt you. I put this fucking joke in at like 3 a.m.
I love that. Him! Holy shit, dude!
I would never. Lobster, you guys. Welcome to Ride or Die. Let's fucking go.
We're making it out of the
So, we are back in the fucking Outlands, baby. Team Ride or Die consists of Sharpay, Eros, Ryder, and Praveen Fairwhistle. And they are on the hunt for Gilly Gamage. Gilly is the world's greatest gun mechanic, and all 2 fucking bajillion of Ryder's guns were made by her. She is Ryder's best friend, and great, we fucking found her. Ride or Die is complete. Pack it up, boys. It's time to fucking go home. Oh, god fucking damn it. Surely I wouldn't make the same joke twice. Oh, it's this fucker. It's Revenant from Apex Legends. You know, maybe going to a place with encounters designed for an entire party with only 4 people is a bad idea. And needless to say, a climactic air fight ensues, with this fucker riding a wyvern. In the process, who could have seen it coming? Gilly is kidnapped. Also, she's turned into a wyvern. Also, this guy has deer-like horns. And why does it seem like he wants Ryder in particular dead? Surely all of this is just a coincidence. Let's just win the fight against this thing, and they're falling. They were kind of riding Sharpay as a dragon, but that didn't really work out because Sharpay went down because this guy's DPS is fucking ridiculous. And now they're falling into the fucked up crevices of the Outlands, which has been split off into islands, and now they're falling into an abyss. And I can't see shit in the Outlands. Who the fuck turned out the lights? The answer to that question is Penumbra. A scary evil god with a P name? Yeah, it's another fucking Pantheon member. But actually, it's a chill Pantheon member. They pretty much just say, hey, Ryder, give up your eye, because, they're kind of trying to manipulate you into, protecting that eye, which they kind of need for their evil plan. Trust me, I'm the chill Pantheon member, because I don't have eyes, and you don't have eyes, so let's be friends, give me that eye. And this begins Ryder's girl boss rule-defying era. I'm truly proud of him, as he gives up the eye that was his sole thing he was trying to protect through this entire campaign so far. The eye is given up, Gilly is kidnapped, and holy shit, it is like episode 3 of Ride or Die that says shell shock, ignore it. I would never make a mistake in the Cursed Ones, trust me. If you say I've ever made a mistake in the Cursed Ones, I will go back to the lobster. You want the lobster? The answer is no. So, I forgot about this. Everything is normal in Normal Town. This is where the hunt for Gilly begins. They decide to try out first at Praveen's home base. It's a town full of spies in a frigid tundra wastes. But as they land there, they find this strange man in a cave. He has red pants, white hair, white beard, a jolly disposition. This can only mean one thing. It's a fucking Oni. This is Kage Honko, who has taken over Praveen's entire home base and has overrun it with dead zone creatures because, yeah, they're fucking escaping the dead zones now. They got out. But Kage kind of has a good reason for taking over the village because the people treated him like shit, and he just wanted to be a silly little guy. While within the town, some other things happen, such as Eros getting a tarot card reading that says, hey, you're the devil. You're the fucking devil. But I'm sure that means nothing, guys. It means nothing. It would never mean anything in the Cursed Ones. Trust me, I love you. I would never do anything that would lie or indicate otherwise. So, it is time for MILF Mommy Murder time. Everyone's favorite time. Hi, Roxanne! Glad to see you in the Outlands. Hey, why do you have all those Starspawn with you? If you don't know what Starspawn are, they are fucked up eldritch creatures from the stars themselves. And, Kage basically sends them on a hunt because the Starspawn keep invading the village, and they're set to track down this giant creature. Kage doesn't tell them much about this creature, but, hey, Roxanne, why do you have the Colossi of Animals Pan with you? And Pan is all sorts of fucked up. He keeps creating, like, these horrible monsters because, turns out, he's feeble-minded. So basically, everything he creates with his massive Colossi hands, I don't know where I'm going with this, it's just Build-A-Bear, but evil. Yeah. And you know who else is evil and fucked up? It's Roxanne. She's especially fucked up because she takes a 300 plus damage sneak attack as the party sneaks up behind her while she's trying to fucking monologue and they bury her alive. I wish this worked in the long run. It really didn't. But now we can focus on the task at hand. Oh, are you fucking kidding me? The Revenant's back. Of course this fucker is back. He nearly plunges Ryder into the fucking abyss again to his death. The Ryder fends him off and they realize, we gotta skedaddle. And so they skedaddle to Normal Town. Even more Normal Town this town. Oh god, don't worry about it. Everything is normal in the even more Normal Town. The party hide out in a nearby bug-infested island, hoping that it'll slow the Revenant down. And this is where they meet the Three Creen. Specifically a Three Creen named Star. Wait a second, didn't someone used to live in the Outlands called Jesse McAllister? Surely that's unrelated. And also, probably unrelated, is that the second that they get into the bug town, Praveen goes missing. And they keep telling them, hey, don't look for Praveen, don't worry, they'll turn up. Eros doesn't believe this, especially because they keep eating the meat and the drinks that keep being provided from the bugs, and there are definitely weird little maggots in those fucking drinks, and they don't like that. So Eros does a little clairvoyance spell to see where Praveen is, and yeah, who could have fucking thunk it? The bugs are evil. So the party go down and they beat the shit out of a giant bug to save Praveen, but in the process they learn Eros might also be evil. As if any evidence up to this point has contradicted that idea. Because their knife, their dagger, they learn when it hits a nat 20, it can curse people. Not in a bestow curse way, in a curse god curse way. But I'm sure it's normal. I'm sure it's normal. Especially because it's the return of the MILF! We're all so happy to see the return of the MILF, aren't we? Because there's nothing like a good old deal with the devil. In this case, the devil being Roxanne herself. And she shows up and he's like, hey, come make a fucking deal with me. And the party agree. They have a great discussion with her because she's a businesswoman first and foremost. Here are the terms of the deal. Number 1, Praveen is taken off her hit list. She has a hit list. Praveen is on it. The Shellshock crew are sent to a safe place instead of the archive because she keeps threatening them that the archive isn't safe. Eros gets a fun-sized sun because Eros saw a sun one time and was like, hey, I wish I had one that could fit in a bag. You know who could probably do that for me? Roxanne! And she does! And the bugified people, by the way, those people who were bugged before were just people turned into bugs by the big bug. It's the whole fucking thing. They get new bodies. That's the good part of the deal. There are some bad parts of the deal that we don't have to worry about too much. Like, for example, Sharpay, when Arden gets a curse, will inherit Arden's curse and will take on the burden of Arden's curse, and Sharpay may be the first person in Cursed Ones to have 2 curses at the same time. Roxanne also made them agree that she can wipe their memories of one event at random. She will not tell them what this is. And additionally, Roxanne can now possess one of them for 10 minutes. Surely nothing bad will happen with this, right? Nothing bad. And then she decides to send them on their merry way with this strange Starspawn who isn't acting like the other Starspawn, and Eros keeps flirting with them. And then as they start to decide on where they're gonna go next, yeah, this Starspawn takes off their cloak and, oh, that is definitely not a Starspawn. Because it's a new friend! It's Eiji Kotim, the half-elf draconic soul sorcerer, he/him, played by Kiki, he/she. Their curse is Draconic Manifestation. They turn into a dragon when under enough stress. Eiji does not know that they turn into a dragon in this form, and hilariously enough, in their first episode, they're like, I don't have a curse that turns me into a big monster. They definitely did. This is a physical curse if you're keeping track of that. they are just the local yippee autism guy, and they want to fuck a dragon oh so badly. And can you blame them? I certainly can't. And I'm Arrow Ace. So, AG basically says, hey guys, can we go help the dragons, and then I'll help you in your, like, bigger issue, that being the Gilly situation. And they say, sure, where are the dragons? And so, that brings us to the anger. They go to Dragon Island, the island of all the dragons. And hey, didn't the dragons of the Outlands used to be nice? Like, they were friends of the party. Now they're all kind of going apeshit. And besides all the dragons, they also find Hammond, this very normal man. He's fucking Bahamut. He just reveals that. He's just like, hey, by the way, I'm like 10,000 years old and my name is Bahamut. I'm like also the god who is the brother of Tiamat. I got poisoned, kind of sucked. Can you help the dragons? And of course they say yes, because that's fucking Bahamut. And then they get entered into a draconic tournament featuring really kinky collars. What the fuck, Passless? I basically added an item that if you put on like a spiked like dog collar, you could have resistance to piercing damage. I have no excuse for this. I just did it. And this is also where Walter entered his violence era, because in the fight, he got overtaken by this wave of angriness that was also being permeated throughout the scene. And Walter did a piercing attack on Ryder that did 1 point of damage, and Ryder was on 1 hit point. Walter almost killed Ryder, the Anteater. I love this game. They managed to take down all of the dragons, and there was this weird fucked up corpse of a cow that they're like, yeah, that's probably a god, and they killed it. And they were correct. That was the god that was part of Penumbra, who is a Pantheon member, who has a bunch of different forms. This form is called Pastor. And when they killed Pastor, or at least this aspect of Pastor, they found themselves in a strange, dreamlike dimension with the person they hate the most. But 2 people had something a little bit different. While Ryder just faced, you know, Roxanne, because he fucking hates Roxanne with a passion and wants to shoot her in the head, Eros encountered Leviticus, that other version themselves, the one that appeared in the fight with the prophecy. And they pose a question. Who is the real one in control? Who is the original? If a cat in a box is closed, is the cat dead or alive? That was the Schrodinger's question. Additionally, Sharpay doesn't have an object of anger. Perhaps the angriest person in Cursed Ones doesn't have one anymore. Because instead, Penumbra comes to her specifically and says, hey, wanna go on a fucking vacation? And Sharpay gets a ticket for trauma recovery. Because you know what? It is time for Sharpay's very good, incredible space vacation. Because mid-arc, that's a perfect time to go on a side mission space adventure. And Sharpay just shunts away into the astral plane in the middle of an arc. There's a reason for this, and it was due to scheduling issues, but it ended up not mattering, which is even fucking funnier. And so Sharpay poofed off into the astral plane and met an I just bumped something over, that's why I went like that for the sake of stream. Went into the astral plane and bumped into the astronomical wife guy depicted here named Bren Aelin. He's just a normal fucking guy who is cursed to always be in the astral plane. And he has a wife who is a fae named Aramoira, and he loves her very much. And he's basically like, hey girl, you seem kind of stressed. I'm gonna help you out. Let's go fishing. So they go fishing together. It's really delightful. And in the process, he's like, you'll know what you're looking for if you just cast your heart out and find it. Sharpay finds it. She finds her old magical tattoo that she used to have, but when she revoked her bloodline as a Von Pharaoh, she gave up that tattoo in the process, in becoming a Hexblood. But now she reunites with it, and helps it reintegrate with her. She still doesn't consider herself a Von Pharaoh, but now ashes doesn't have to mean fire. Doesn't have to mean those pink flames that coursed and burned and killed. Now it can be something different, blooming like a rose. With the tattoo and Sharpay reunited, they then go to find the body, the true body of Penumbra, which is being encased in the body of Tiamat, which is floating inside the astral plane. The iconically dead Colossi, if you know any Cursed Ones lore, and for those who do not know, Tiamat, everyone talks about how fucking dead Tiamat is. It is like well known in the lore, Tiamat's dead as fuck, and her body is just found in the astral plane. And inside of it, in chains, Sharpay learns that the other Pantheon members sealed away their sister, their little sister, Persephone, who didn't believe in their horrible ways, wanted instead to be like the mortals. They didn't listen to her, and instead they trapped her, and fragmented her soul into multiple halves, including Pastor, Permafrost, Penumbra, Plague, is what her Pantheon name was. Now, she does everything she can, even in her weakened and chained up state, to help others break their own chain that the Pantheon has placed on them. Because she explains to Sharpay, Pantheon's control goes deep. Deeper than anyone knows. Sharpay is magic again, as well! She can now create custom spells on the fly, which is the most ridiculous thing ever, and I have a feeling Chance is gonna strangle me for the fact that this is a real thing that Sharpay can do. Don't worry about it. Don't fucking worry about it. It's balanced. Trust me.
What?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We talked about it a lot, and I... Oh.
God, I love this campaign. If Benny dies, the next character I'm making is a weed wizard.
I want a spell of in small your dick.
Ask Sharpay. Get it commissioned.
I cast ball falls off disease.
I cast impotence beam. And at the end of this adventure, Persephone tells Sharpay something. Sharpay knows something that no one else does. Her chain is broken. The audience does not get to know what this is. Only CC knows what this information is. That's all. Let's get back to the Outlands. Welcome back to the Apathy. False alarm, everyone. Sharpay left for a bit and was supposed to be like a multiple session long thing because of scheduling issues. False alarm. Sharpay left for 2 seconds. Sharpay's back. And now she's much happier than she was before. Bahamut just says, hey guys, there's more dragons, and instead of being angry, they're really apathetic because there was another version of Pastor. They're like double A situations, so like, can you fix that please? And so they go fight a pit of really sad dragons, which are kind of just dying. Massive pit of ooze. And, you know, there's a bunch of these generators that seem to put the dragons in an endless loop of work. It's like a really cool critique on capitalism and shit. I was really proud of it. And then Ryder took a clay pot and he put all of the cubes in a jar and he shook them until they died. Just to make, you know, it clear, when I say Ryder's pot tactics, it's not weed. I'm talking about a fucking crock pot. He beat this thing with a crock pot.
Betty Crocker up in this bitch.
So fucking true. And hey, at the bottom of the pit, when the apathy dies, after giving some parting words, which is, hey, you guys will never succeed on your goals, keep fucking struggling, nothing will ever change, the party say, fuck you. And at the bottom of the pit, there is a gift from Tiamat. Dead as fuck Tiamat, in hell. And it's a cure for Hammond, and their Iker point poison. So they cure Bahamut, and the dragons are freed, so now there is only one thing to do. And that is... Oh, fuck! What the fuck? Oh my god. That actually jump scared me. I didn't even have it set up on stream so they can hear that, but I had a fucking Dracula-ass da-da-da sound effect on there. I didn't know that was on this slide. What the fuck? It's going great, guys. They now have to cross the Dead Zone Sea, which, yeah, a bunch of dead zones have been clustering up in the sky. Totally normal stuff. So they enter it to try and get to Gilly, who is above the Dead Zone Sea. It is a pretty misleading name. It's not a sea, it's a desert. And they enter it, and after meeting a lesbian at a bar, which is very important, just thought I'd mention because she's like a really cool character, and I really recommend people watch this scene because it's one of my favorites. It's like a really good dialogue scene between two Dead Zone clearers, Ryder and this strange, like, other lesbian. It's really cool. That's all I'm saying. And they're off. They find some strange gravestones for people that they don't know. Additionally, they find graves for Kage, the false Hydra, and the Scarecrow from the first time the party went to the Outlands in episode, like, 20. Turns out, Ryder did create the Dead Zones. Or did he? Everything's pointing as to something out of his control. He remembers nothing. He's gaining no insight as to what is happening here. But there's no time to think about that. It's Revenant time. The motherfucker is back. They make a connection in this fight. They've been slowly building to it, but Praveen decides to ask a question. Are you Tiamos, Fair Whistle? A name that's been thrown around a couple of times. That is Praveen's brother. The Revenant doesn't remember the name Tiamos Fair Whistle, but they find evidence to prove that once upon ago, he was. And now, whatever strange part of that man still lingers, is dead set on hunting Ryder. In the midst of the fight, there is a strange door in the midst of the desert that Ryder makes his way towards and opens up using a key that was on the Revenant's chest. Which is where we're introduced to Ryder 2, Electric Boogaloo. His curse is kind of weird. So basically, how do I best explain this? Praveen Fairwhistle was a spy in the Curse War with her brother Tiamos. She got very close to Genesis at some point during the Curse War and almost killed him. Almost took him out entirely. The campaign wouldn't have happened if Praveen had succeeded. She did not. And Curse God was like, whoa, curse be upon you, have a baby, which is probably the most fucked up thing that has ever happened in Cursed Ones. And so Ryder was born, all kinds of fucked. But the thing is that while this was happening, they were, like, Tiamos was using spells to try and get them out of the way, and he created a gate, and because of all the magic in the situation and all the curse magic being formed, a dimension was formed from it, dummy plane, that being the Outlands. And in this cacophonous stream of wild magic surging throughout the area, alongside, by the way, Tiamos Fairwhistle was a wild magic sorcerer, extra context, with this massive surge of energy intertwining with Curse God's magic, Ryder ended up with an unfinished curse. The only thing that it knew, much like an infant, is what it was taught. The first thing it was taught was Tiamos trying to kill it at the behest of Praveen Fairwhistle. So, unconsciously, in the back of Ryder's head, for the last couple years, this undeveloped curse creature has been creating the dead zones of the dead. It's all it's ever known, death. It was the first thing that it ever experienced. And then Ryder's like, hey, you really don't have to do that. You can be different. Trust me, it's really cool to just not listen to what the gods want from you, or what anyone wants from you, really. You can forge your own identity. He doesn't believe Ryder at first, but Ryder then gives him a gun to hold, and gives him the option of pulling the trigger from Ryder's own temple. The creature, who had once thought its whole life was surrounded by death, decides not to pull the trigger. Walks off into the sunset like a proper space cowboy. Trust me, it was very Western, it was very cool, it makes no fucking sense to describe in this way. It's an experience. Cursed Ones is wild. So, it is time to finally save Gilly Gamage. Fuck that Revenant, we gotta go save our short queen. So, they find her in the Revenant, who is dead as fuck, by the way. They find her in his basement, still in that wyvern form. They work together to calm her down, which Eiji's knowledge about dragons helping out a fair bit, and they also take out a mark that the Revenant had put in her wrist that kept her as a wyvern, because her curse was that she turned into a wyvern every month. The Revenant had created a device that had made it happen perpetually. So, Gilly saved, everything's happy, let's all go home. No, we don't get to fucking go home. Are you fucking kidding me? Hello, Roxanne. Roxanne actually does want the party to go home, but she's being so adamant about it that the party don't fucking believe that she has any good intentions, because she rarely does. So the party stand their ground. They ask her, hey, what are you doing? And she just tells them, you're gonna want to be out of the Outlands soon. Shit's about to be ridiculous. Ryder and Gilly, however, this is their home. And despite the fact that Roxanne says it's just a cursed land, they lived their entire life here. So they stand their ground. They decide to stay. Roxanne lets them make that decision, claims that, at the very least, Ryder and Eiji are not important to the story at large anymore, and she activates the Rapture Protocol. That is the fucking sun! The real-ass motherfucking sun. Yeah, Roxanne summons the whole-ass motherfucking sun, who is probably a Pantheon member, and is probably the one who lies before their very eyes, and just summons it on the Outlands. The real, actual sun, which is also an eyeball. And holy fuck, the encounter is ridiculous. The party tried to go down to gather the forces of Bahamut, Penumbra, Pan, actual gods, and the people of the Outlands, but they can't seem to do anything to the sun. Not only that, Roxanne is a fucked up spellcaster who keeps casting Wish Simulacrum, and it's not going well. And so they're kind of at a standstill. Everyone pretty much knows they're gonna die. Sharpay gets hit by a meteor swarm and does die. Until she's able to counterspell it with the help of Shellshock crew passing back through to the mortal plane at the exact right time to help her get that counterspell off. It's ridiculous. They decide it's best to flee the Outlands, but Ryder tells the people of the Outlands, no. This is our home. We fight for it. They do. Over 500 points of damage are sunk into the sun. All of that for one drop of blood. The sun can bleed. That's enough. Ryder shoots a special bullet given to him by Bahamut and pierces through the sun. And it retreats. With that, Ryder decides he's best left in the Outlands with Gilly and everyone else. They depart. Praveen goes on a research trip with Eiji, and Eris and Sharpay are left to return to the material plane, atop the back of the Pangea. As a new sun, a real one like the one in our world, rises in the distance. Wow, that's beautiful. Anyways, it's time for fucking shell shock. Woo woo woo. I need to take a sip of Gatorade. This talking is killing my voice. How are we doing so far, gamers?
Dude, I am
There's so much
vibing.
shit going on.
I shouldn't have ever smoked that shit, Mr. Jets. Now I'm in the fucking subconscious.
We are now in the fucking subconscious. So,
Brain blast.
I thought this is the best way to visualize shell shock.
It is. It is. That's what your average military man. That's his life.
This is your average military man. Welcome to Shell Shock. Introducing our team. Of course, we have the intrepid Benny Jets, Benjamin Jets, who is here today with us live on camera. Benny Jets, what do you have to say about the upcoming recap of Shell Shock?
Oh boy, you better hold on to your socks, lest they fly away.
Thank you, Benny Jets, for that intrepid input. Thank you very much. Accompanying Benny Jets on this trip to the subconscious, Benny's subconscious, is Lily Lenovo, who is not here. Arden Marlowe, who is not here. Lee Hostine, who is right in front of us right now. Let's quickly introduce Lee Hostine. I've mentioned him, but I've never really given him a spotlight, so let's do it now. Lee Hostine is the former Radiant Roses member and current Boy of Failure. He is a Curse War veteran and the Somnambulist's brother. He is also fused with the soul of a dead Aarakocra named El. If you want to know more information about that, watch the Cursed Ones Halloween one-shot. It is a supplemental for Cursed Ones, and I highly recommend it. It is not technically important to the story of Cursed Ones as a whole, but if you want to know more about this silly little German guy, then I would watch that. Lee is mostly here to help the party through the subconscious, but mostly he's here to be a babysitter for his sister. And he also warns the party, don't say the word Leviticus around him. Surely that won't matter. So, the party enter the subconscious, and they're met with a series of doors, much like they were before in the Feywilds when they went into the subconscious. They decide to tackle the first door in front of them with the help of the captain of the subconscious vessel, who guides them into the Blood Moon of Old. Within this door, the party are kids? Not only that, Benny isn't a kid Benny. Benny is his son, Dakota. The one that he had with his wife, Mary. They're on this strange rose-colored hill when a blood moon rises. And then it becomes a rose-colored kill, because this was the first appearance of the Blood Moon Beast Benny. It killed Mary. The party watched it happen in these younger forms, which were too low level to do any actual damage. As they got struck down one by one, they kept reappearing at the top of the hill to watch all of the chaos go down, unable to stop it. But when Dakota was struck down, Benny found himself in the eyes of the Blood Moon Beast. Just reliving that pain was enough for the first memory to present itself to Benny. The man who gave Benny Jets the curse of the Blood Moon Beast was not Genesis. It was Grimoire, the conductor, the one who sent them on this mission to begin with. Not only that, Grimoire might be Genesis. But we have no time to worry about that because the fucking Somnambulist escaped. Because of course she did. And the only person close enough to her right now is Arden, who is pretty low on hit points and is struggling on her own because, you know, everyone else is currently dealing with the Blood Moon Beast to the side. So now it's time for Arden versus the Somnambulist. Truly the smackdown of the century. The child versus the child. The green color scheme versus the green color scheme. The sun versus the moon. They could not be better opposed to each other. This is truly going to be the battle of the century. Everyone place your bets as to who is going to win right now. Right now. The answer is, fuck you, you do not get to bet. Because the answer, as always, is friendship. Historical problems require friendship solutions. Because Arden doesn't fight the Somnambulist. Well, she does. She kicks the Somnambulist's ass. But then immediately Arden's like, hey, be my friend. And it works. It fucking works. So now who's gonna be the ARC's BBEG? The answer, in probably the most horrifying line read I've ever had in Cursed Ones, there is an entity. You know, maybe going into one of the subconscious's many lore doors will be a good way to hide from this entity that is suddenly roaming around the vessel and looks a lot like Grimoire, who, you know, no fucking way. Grimoire is most definitely Genesis at this point. Especially when they do go and hide in one of the lore doors and Grimoire uses Time Stop on the party. Fully mask off. As Genesis, tells Benny, also known as Exodus, just how much he hates him. He tortures Arden and Lily within an inch of their life in front of Benny, and then lets them go. Because suddenly, Grimoire's back. Grimoire isn't Genesis. Grimoire is being possessed by Genesis. Which begs a number of questions, but, well, I think it's time for something a little different. And this is like the biggest fucking slide ever. Welcome to the lore door speedrun, because Shell Shock is all about getting a bunch of lore from a bunch of lore doors. So let's go over all the lore doors in the lore door speedrun. Starting with Curse War's End. Some of these have dates, and that is if the door in the canon had the date on the door, if that makes sense. Curse War's End. Which the main takeaways from this one, it was basically a snapshot into the exact moments of when Curse War ended. They were just playing themselves for this role, the Cursed Ones were, and they were traversing through a war-torn battlefield that struggled to cease fire when the order was called for everything to end. That was, of course, when Exodus at the time, or General Jets, used the artifacts to banish Curse God. And during this one, they kind of perhaps think that maybe they're doing time travel, because Harrison Hayes, also known as Heartbreaker, is in this memory, and he is in an impossible situation for anyone to save him, and they gently push him to safety, and he lives in the future. So maybe there's time shenanigans happening, but Veldred isn't here, so who the fuck knows? After they get through this battlefield, another memory orb is revealed, which reveals that, no, the artifacts, while they were used to banish Genesis and not make him a god anymore, they were also the original things that made him a god in the first place. So, the next one is the mental impact of war, which happens in the Curse War. I put a comma there, don't fucking worry about it. In the Curse War, something interesting is mentioned, that being magic with a K, pronounced magic. You kind of click it at the end. It is revealed that experimentation was done on soldiers on Benny's side of the war that led to mass DNB deaths. DNB, you're free to look up what that acronym means in the context of war. As a warning and trigger warning, it is very upsetting content. And then, speaking of upsetting content, because this is a fucking war, the Azamar mass slaughter. Because Genesis hated Benny so much, he ordered a kill order on every single Aasimar, which is why they're so scarce today. One of the many who carried out this order was Presley Kane, which was the human name of the prophecy, who was once a human. It was in this particular memory door that they found out Grimoire might just be possessed. Next up, the spy's regrets. The spy's regrets. This is where they are introduced to another concept during the Curse War, that being Project Requiem, which was a spy group consisting of some familiar faces, specifically Praveen and Tiamos Fairwhistle and Grimoire Valentine, the conductor. Grimoire was 18 when he was a spy, when he was drafted to immediately take on Genesis. Genesis caught him in the act and decided he wanted to train Grimoire. He referred to him as pet, and this is where the common running theme now of everyone calling Genesis a pedophile began. Which, he's creepy as fuck. This is also where the party learned that these spies were forced to do some horrible shit, such as killing one another. Very unfortunate. Next up, the Monastery Falls, pre-Curse War. This was surprisingly a memory door that came from Lily's side of their memories, despite the fact that this was Benny's subconscious vessel. In this memory, we follow Kasim, Lily's abusive father, when he was nothing more than a child in a falling monastery. The monastery was destroyed by Genesis. Kasim was given a spot to hide by the other monks at the temple, but Genesis found him and chose Kasim to hold the Staff of Balance for the future. Doncaster Falls, which is another pre-Curse War thing. In this one, this is the original conflict between the Dragonborn and the dwarves. And Arden and Benny and Lily are put in a position where they have to cast judgment upon other sides of each other's war. It's a whole cool puzzle scenario. But during this, the important beats of information learned are that a cat-like figure is the one who killed Tiamat, notoriously dead Tiamat, that Genesis killed the Colossi of the dwarves, and important names for possibly later in the lore, Kaine Kintakali and Maeldrum Gamage. That is Gamage as in Gilligamage as well. Next up, Sepulturnum Falls, pre-Curse War. This is Veldrin's biggest L. Sepulturnum, first mentioned in a Cursed Ones Halloween one-shot as a throwaway island. Sepulturnum has slowly been revealed to be the island of the elves, first revealed by the Lavender Lady back in the Feywilds and slowly elaborated upon up until now, where we are learning even more about it in current Cursed Ones, so fun stuff all around. But this used to be the island of the elves, where Veldrin Voller led them to a state of not just enlightenment, but magical development unlike any other race, because he went back in time and gave the elves magic before anyone else had it. Stonks. So from there, Sepulturnum became a major hotspot for, magic development, and Genesis, who wanted their secrets, or perhaps other things, tore it down in flames. This is where we finally get the full context to scattered memories throughout the series. That Genesis was the one who fell Sepulturnum with help of the Sigil of the Above, and that unknown, or supposedly unknown, who it's fully revealed was a version of this strange Leviticus name we keep hearing, they were sent as a cleaner robot to clean up the mess of Sepulturnum, get rid of any stragglers. Lily was supposedly the only survivor, whisked away at sea by the robot itself. Next up, Threadwire Falls, another pre-Curse War incident. This is where the party met the beloved Zoran Zornzanoff. Well, this is where they met him first chronologically in terms of his life, but they've met him before. Some of the party has, all the way back in Yashendale, first version of Yashendale, back in session 10. Zoran Zornzanoff was the person who gave them the Sickle of Judgment, and they learn in this historical flashback that Zoran was turned into a daimon. Not a demon, a daimon, which is this form of corrupted being that seems to just be some strange corruption of the soul itself. Not a curse, just a tortured existence, one of infernal hellfire and flame. Zoran Zornzanoff was turned into this by Genesis, who was taking the form of a cat at the time by the name of Apollo. And The crowning of Zorn Zornzanath as a daimon sent all of Threadwire into a panic. Important thing to know about this particular door is that in the memory orb it is revealed that Exodus, Benny, had his suspicions about Genesis's heel turn all the way back then, and did nothing but support him. That brings us on to now. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. Here is where Roxanne comes into the play, because when are we ever free from Roxanne Marlowe? Roxanne appears on the subconscious vessel. This is right after the ride or die session where they were like, hey, Roxanne, bring them to safety. Roxanne has a conversation with Genesis that basically boils down to, hey, get the fuck out of here. The ride or die people said that you're gross, so get out of here, get away from my daughter, I'll deal with it. And Genesis says, okay, bet, fucking deal with it. You know, clean up this mess, get them out of the subconscious, there's stuff in here they can't know. And there's something here that they can't get. So, Roxanne says the fabled word that Lee told them not to use around him, activate Leviticus protocol. Code word Rapture. Targets: Benny Jets, Lily Lenovo. Targets to avoid: Arden Marlowe. In the process of this deadly encounter that was the closest likely the party has ever come to a full-on TPK, the ship nearly sinks. The entire subconscious vessel, and with it, Captain, the person that allows everyone in the Curse of One's universe to have a long rest. But thank God, through the power of bullfuckery, the party managed to find a solution, and that was the best spell combo I have ever seen in my life, of animate objects, which turns objects into a creature, and then water walk, which lets creatures walk on water. How the fuck did you guys think of that? But it worked, and the ship survived. The reason why the captain, a god, couldn't step in is revealed. Something called the Law of Fate's Death. Something that all of the gods adhere by. They cannot interfere with human affairs more than 3 times, or else their godhood is stripped, alongside the domain of which they rule over. After this encounter, a lot happens. Lee is saved from the Leviticus protocol after they shout out, Lee, clouds down. And he manages to come back to himself. After this encounter, Lee and Astra finally make up with one another, after years of being separated across different everything. Astra getting manipulated, and oh yeah, by the way, she changes her name. Her name is Astra now. Lily suggested it, and well, she changes it. No more Somnambulist, just Astra now. But they make up with one another after years of hardship and not trusting one another. Being on different sides of the world, being through everything horrible that history had to provide. They're finally back together as siblings. This is also once again where we return to, is Grimoire actually possessed? Because it's really up in the air at this point. Thankfully, when this conversation between Grimoire and Roxanne goes through, they seem to get confirmation in the fact that Grimoire screams out in protest as he is banished. Which probably intends that they are different people. But who knows? There's no real concrete way to tell. So, that brings us to the return of Exodus. After this chaos has happened with the Leviticus protocol, the party decides we need to fucking nap. But what they forgot was that the ship was going down because of a bunch of leaks in the boat, and while they covered them up superficially, they started to get larger overnight. And the entire subconscious vessel changed into this strange amalgamous world, Benny's deep subconscious. And by the time he woke up, he was Exodus, the old version of himself. Lily was not happy about this, for many reasons. A, Benny, who is basically her father figure, was suddenly gone, for some reason, and also all of the evidence leading up to this point had suggested that Exodus had a hand in causing curses, in causing the curse war, in causing everything. But they decided to take a plunge down to help Exodus out. They found the Temple of Exodus. Woohoo! The Temple of Exodus, which is basically the Temple of Genesis 2. As they enter this strange temple deep within the subconscious, they are first met with strange runes on the wall. poems, love poems, from Genesis to Exodus, explaining how Genesis wishes he was mortal, truly, whatever that means. But that to be angel is to be daimon. There's also a sword in an old house. They see an old version of Benny's house with Genesis. And within this home, they find a sword under the bed that bad memories with. It's a sword he used to strike down critics of Genesis back in the day. Exodus has many faults, and these are all covered in the temple. When Lee Hostine was younger, whatever turned him into this Leviticus sleeper agent, it wasn't his fault. He was a child. And he had these friends that tried to defend him, that tried to provide evidence to Exodus that it was Genesis's fault that this happened to Lee. And he struck down Lee's friends in cold blood with the sword of death. He also excused Genesis for Tiamat's death. Tried to rationale it away, even though he had all the evidence to put together that Genesis was involved. And then the Curse War, and Genesis had elevated to godhood. Sir Benny let all of his lead up to becoming one slip. Genesis wanted Chronergy for some reason, and Benny knew this. Benny still used the artifacts to strike him down, knowing that gods can't use Chronergy, and whatever he wanted to do involved Chronergy. Magic, diamonds, Chronergy. In some way, Exodus knew. Lily isn't happy. Because however love-blind he was in Lily's lack of eyes, this was all kind of Benny's fault, and Benny is like her father, and her other father, Kasim, also was working with Genesis, so it's kind of breaking her brain. So that just leads us all to the real question. Was it Benny's fault? All of this. Just little wiggles. The answer, according to the Blood Moon Beast, was yes. As in a moment of self-doubt, realizing itself, the Blood Moon Beast itself emerges in the recesses of Benny's mind and attacks the party in a vicious cycle, swapping between the forms of General Jets and Exodus themselves, striking down the party one by one. In the process, to try and protect his kids, Benny jumps in front of a time-ravaged spell, which puts him on a time limit, 30 days to live, unless a 9th level Greater Restoration can be cast, or a wish spell. Thank God they managed to strike down the beast. And then they're met with something strange. A visit from a god. Above. You know, the one from the sigil of the above. And above basically says it how it is. Genesis created Exodus to be his boy toy, as gross as that sounds. So from the beginning, Benny was manipulated. Additionally, they tell the story of Genesis. Genesis was the first mortal, didn't know how to be a good human. And when Benny was created after accident Genesis had, and Benny was so good at creating and helping the world, being human, Genesis was jealous, sick with jealousy. All he wanted to do was be immortal, and if he couldn't, just wanted to be a god. He learned early on from his own mistakes that led to the creation of Benny that negativity equals power. His first spark of creativity came from cutting his finger on a rose. The first drops of blood created Benny. Drops of blood, pain, untold emotions that they don't feel natural. That was power to Genesis. Above told this story, and basically now Benny has got appointed validity. And also, finally, after how many fucking arcs, Arden finally turns in the Precipice and the Prophecy's eyes, and they are sealed away in Above's realm. Hopefully, never to be seen again. And finally, Above grants Benny new wings. Wings that are his own. and tells Benny to go off and be a better man. So everyone say hello to Gilf Benny. I don't have new art for him, but it'll be there soon. And also, Arden does have the Sigil of the Above now. It was given to them whilst in the midst of that, so the party now have all of the artifacts. And that is the end of Cursed Ones 501. How we fucking feeling, gamers?
Holy cannoli!
Holy guacamole! So, with that out of the way, I suppose now is where we get into our live Q&A session. Yippee! So, I know that there was a question already posted, but any other questions that you guys might have, you're free to ask them now. Let me go check Ask the DM. Let me see. All right. Is the sun immune to necrotic damage? This question comes from Chance. And you also ask, is Roxanne? No evidence has been given to prove either way. So it's not been proven. However, it has been proven that Roxanne and the sun are immune to radiant damage as well as most fire damage. Besides, like, yeah, certain types here and there. So that's that. What the fuck happened in this Ask the DM channel? I'm trying to find actual fucking questions. What the fuck were you guys talking about?
Everything devolved very quickly.
Really did. What's going on between between Arrows and and Ashi? They're fucking. Next question. I think there was one that was like, is Arden is Roxanne? Hold on. Let me try and find that real quick. Is Roxanne actually a good mom? Or is that just memeing? Because doesn't she want to commit genocide and has attempted it? I feel like that excludes one from the status of good mom. Good question. So I think the player of Arden Borg also answered this in a way. You can... Here's the thing. I'm not bullshitting when I'm saying she's a good mom. She has taught Arden everything she needs to know, and she knows what makes a moral person, and she's taught Arden to be Arden. And as we know, Arden's fucking amazing. Arden's just the sweetest little kid, has redeemed so many villains, and is on a streak of befriending everyone. Roxanne was never abusive? I mean, obviously what she's doing isn't good. And I think it's a debate. I really think it's up to personal preference. It's definitely ambiguous, but in terms of like how she treats Arden, she's never been rude or abusive or anything actively like that, and has never, like, actively tried to put Arden in way of her work. She very distinctly has a different attitude between talking to Arden and doing work. You guys have only seen business Roxanne. So I would say there's, like, a weird amount of separation, but it's really up to interpretation, because she's kind of evil. She's very evil. She's written down as evil on her sheet and stuff, but when it comes to, like, caring for her kids, Arden and Lilavati, she's good at it. That's the scary part, is that Arden would probably kill you all if you killed her mom, because her mom actually cares about her in a way. Watching the recap. Who and what are Envy and Hara? God damn it, Cece. Stop fucking answering the questions!
That's what I'm saying. I didn't ask you, Cece. I asked
Dean, the teacher. Go to jail, Cece. Go to jail.
You meddler, interloper.
Meddling meddler. Actually, before I get into more questions, I do have to go grab a quick water for myself. So Chance and Crime, entertain the chat for a second.
No.
Okay, so essentially, yeah, way back before the Cold War, there's this guy. His name was Naked Snake, and he was sent on a mission. And the mission was called Snake Eater. Thank you. I entertained the chat.
It had a sick ass theme song.
It did. It was a total spiff on James Bond, and it was great. And there was gay men and Russians and women.
Were there gay women?
Yes, there was. And then he goes on to become Big Boss. Yeah, he goes on to become Big Boss. He becomes Vic Boss, who becomes basically he creates a fucking doppelganger through psychotherapy and cosmetic surgery named Venom Snake. And then he gets his fucking genes cloned and he has 3 children.
Alright, gamers, Professor is back. The TA filled in while I was gone. I hope you guys learned a lot from your TA crime. But it's back to the questions. If anyone has questions for the rest of class. God damn it. Alright. You're sorry, Cece? I know. I know you are. But also, never do my job ever again.
You fucker.
You fucker. Just kidding, I love you. So yeah, to answer the question on stream, Envy Ivy is a Firbolg bard. He was like a kind of famous musician in the Cursed Ones universe. And he was a former friend of Cornelius before Cornelius got cursed. I thought it was time sensitive. It's not! That's okay. And yeah, Envy was also, the villain of a one-shot that happened in Cursed Ones that was never streamed, but I added him into the lore. You don't need to know anything about the one-shot, because why the fuck would I do that if there's no way to view it? But yeah, he is just a shitty-ass guy who really simps for Cornelius and just hasn't really put it through his head that Cornelius is kind of taken and also really distraught, so when he was invited to join Cornelius's troupe, he jumped on the opportunity to grow his brand, and now he's kind of just an asshole. And Hara was also from the regular campaign. She was definitely in a previous recap. She was a blood hunter who studied Penethra. Her kids were basically killed by curse beasts, and so in response she got real fucked up and decided, you know what, everyone should be a curse beast because I said so. And she started studying Penethra and was able to give people Penethra, and like also turned Elian into a curse beast for a bit. She was really cool. She had a curse where whenever she took a step, she took physical pain and damage. And she ended up dying because she took a step forward when she was on 1 hit point and slit her own throat. Why did Sharpay and Jesper do that? The whole broadcast thing? They basically just wanted to have it out there in case Veldrin tried to mind wipe them of any of the information again. But I think CC said that as well. It's also, it's a lot of things the world needs to know, as CC put here. Roxanne's name and murder intentions were also doxed. That is true. Also because CC deserves to dox in canon. Okay. Those were all the questions I could see. Does anyone have any other questions for the class? This can also be, like, not even lore questions. You can just ask me something.
What would the party's favorite movies be?
That's a good question.
Or, I don't know, the NPCs. I don't know if you're qualified to speak for the parties.
I definitely won't speak for the party. Crime, since you are here, what would Benny's favorite movie be?
Oh man, okay, so
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
Benny's the type of guy where I think his favorite movie depends on the company he's in. He's a very much the vibe of the room kind of guy. But if he had to go for a movie with a favorite trope, he always loves the dad-daughter trope. Oh. That's just something very special to him.
Yeah.
I hope you know he was born and he instantly knew he wanted to be an eclectic old man. That was his life goal.
He was born from the gods themselves and was like, I'm here to be a DILF. Well, to throw some out there for some NPCs, because I can speak for the NPCs, Veldrin would definitely be the type, CC says High School Musical for Sharpay, to be expected. 1, 2, or 3, that is the further question for you, CC. I think Veldrin would definitely, I mean, it's obvious to put Groundhog Day there, but I think that would traumatize him way too much to watch.
Oh my god.
Because he basically lived in Groundhog Day for a bit. So, I'm gonna say Looper. I think he would enjoy the physics of Looper, and I think he'd just, like it in, like, a, haha, that's totally not what time travel is like IRL. I made it. I would know kind of way. So, Veldrin would be a cocky shit, and, like, his favorite activity would be to tear apart movies, and so he would tear the shit out of Looper. Elian? I think Elian's a sucker for a romance, or a drama. He would really like something like Moonlight. Like, he would love a slow burn, like, really deeply personal story. Man, I feel like someone's gotta love horror movies in terms of like the NPCs. But who would like horror movies out of the NPCs? I mean, I feel like D-Face would for sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh god, I just got phlegm all over my mouth. This is great. It's going amazing. Since you are here as well, Chance, we didn't actually get to introduce Gideon and Satari in the slideshow, but because this is gonna go out on YouTube before the session does, weird thing. But for your character, for the people who just watch on YouTube and don't know who these two chuckle fucks are, not Crime and Chance, I'm pointing to the guys on the stream. How about you give them a taste by telling us what Satari's favorite would be?
Ooh, that's tough actually. Now that I think about it, because I have this. It's not exactly written down on the sheet, but one thing about Satari is that, without explaining why, she can't stand to look at any like artwork that depicts just like the world generally, like especially like in color. And so that's gonna make a lot of movies really tough for her. I feel like
grayscale loving Vincent.
Something in black and white.
Yeah. I'm curious if like a German expressionist movie might work for her.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it'd be something like kind of pretentious probably, and a little and like just not definitely nothing in color. Is like the main stipulation. Something sad and emo.
Oh,
but
yeah.
In a fancy way.
Human Centipede 2.
Human Centipede 2.
Okay, we're not gonna get into my opinions on Human Centipede 2 because I don't want to talk about them on stream. But I've kind of
I want to hear them.
I've kind of given away the game by saying that already. But I'm gonna divert the conversation by assigning my favorite movie to someone. My favorite movie is Swiss Army Man, and I definitely think that an enjoyer of Swiss Army Man would be... I just had them in my head. Who the fuck was I just thinking about? Lee! I think Lee would love Swiss Army Man. He's definitely the type to have like a weird kind of pick. And I mean, Swiss Army Man is weird and whimsical and beautiful and makes me cry. And Lee is very much like me. He was my first D&D character ever, so I think about him a whole lot, so I think he would also like Swiss Army Man. It feels like it makes sense to me. God, Shutu would love Nimona. Shu would love Nimona.
Oh my god, I still haven't seen Nimona.
It's so good! I mean, like, half of the cast of Cursed Ones would fucking love Spider-Verse. Because... I mean, they're also in a really colorful world. Maybe it, like, wouldn't be as cool to them. But yeah, that's like probably all I can speak on for like character movies. I'd have to think a bit more. My brain cell is gone. I've been up since 6 a.m. So yeah, any more questions? If not, close it out here. But I'll have a second for people to think about any more.
Do you ever just mess up one singular selection in a dialogue in a game, so you have to crash your game forcibly to restart so you don't make that mistake?
Is this a Cursed Ones question?
No, just do you ever experience
that? Does Veldrin ever do that?
Is that Chance? Yeah, Veldrin does that. Is that Chance? Yeah, I have some intrepid co-hosts with me that just appeared in the voice chat, even though I banned people from
Two people! Yeah. Wait, you banned us?
I did say in general, I was like, don't come in, I'm doing 501, but honestly, you two are allowed.
It's true.
I'm so sorry.
Emmet is always
I only
allowed.
joined in because I saw crime.
Fair enough.
Considering I used to just walk into your house.
No, literally. Ban them again? No. Yeah, you know what, Kiki, you're allowed. You're allowed. You
come in
here.
Kiki, come here.
Kiki, come here.
Come here, Kiki.
Come hang out.
Kiki.
Come here. Come here.
Gripping, grabbing.
Come here.
Come here and say goodbye to the chat. No, I'm on call with Eager. Well, fuck you both.
Bring Eager along.
Bring
Hello.
fucking Eager. Jesus Christ.
How hard is it to figure out?
Oh my god. Anyways, well, if there aren't any more questions, and if Kiki is too busy dealing with cooler people than us right now, and can't even
Zam.
show us the time of day.
SMH.
Final question for Cursed Ones. Do we all hate one another? The answer is yeah, we all hate one another.
What do you hope for the future of the Cursed Ones?
Oh shit, you're hitting me with a real one. Oh god. Kiki.
Holy shit.
Kiki.
What?
It's you.
You
What do you have
know
to say?
what?
What do you have to say for yourself?
Fuck you.
What's Lily's favorite movie?
She can't see.
You can still watch movies when you're blind.
She's a really big fan of silent movies.
Why
Like a
what the
silent.
fuck? Kiki! How does that work? How does that work?
No. She'd like Karate Kid. Sorry, I'm
Oh.
always on call with Eager. I don't think you understand how often I'm on call with Eager. I get out of class, I get on call, I go to bed, I am on call, phone out.
I say this with love. Gay.
Say it again.
Gay.
Come on.
Yay.
There's
Hey.
so you know how like me and Eager are we joke about Clance a lot.
What the fuck? You're
There's
saying by the way, this is projecting to the whole world on stream right now.
it
You're about to
is,
compare
it
yourself to
is.
Clance.
Yeah, I've our friends do it too. There's an emoji in the server that we share called allegations because sometimes we say really weird gay shit.
That's
Like
beautiful.
earlier I did like the rendition of the fucking Cars meme where it's like, it's good to be back in Radiator Springs. I want you.
You've activated Crime's hyperfixation on cars. Alright.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a
Whatever
war.
it is.
So that
Anyways,
we don't go too off
I'll see you
track
later.
here. See you later, Kiki. Thanks for stopping by. Things are so cool for us hanging out with Ro. We're the real cool people. Let's end it off with Crime's question there, which was, what are my plans for the future of Cursed Ones? Well, I clearly can't go into the lore implications because, you guys are actively playing it, and you don't get to know any spoilers. I'll genuinely say this, though. The wedding is planned. It's gonna happen. I know I've joked about it a lot, like it's like the joke where it keeps getting pushed away. I'm genuinely really excited for it. I think it's gonna be great. So the wedding, that is a major thing I'm thinking of in the future. But in terms of like further along down the line, it's really hard to say, and I've like choked up thinking about it, but we are like over halfway done the campaign. We've passed the halfway mark. And I guess in reality, we're in the home stretch. Now that you guys have the final artifact, like, you're quite literally, you're pretty close. Definitely not close, like, not within any number of sessions I could name for sure, but plot-wise, you're getting there. So, the future is becoming closer and closer, and man, that's scary, because this campaign has gone on for 4 years, and I can't imagine life without it at this point. But after the campaign, I mean, I've talked about it before, but never officially stated, I will definitely be releasing Cursed Ones as a module. I need time to spruce it up because my planning style is a mess, but full Cursed Ones module with the villains statted up, with the unique creatures of Ethos statted up, with new curse rules and formats. It'll be out to the public.
You should get that published, like properly published in a book.
Yeah, that's a hope for me especially. I know it would cost a fair bit of money, which I likely don't have right now. But hoping that by the end of the campaign I can be in a point where I can do something like that. If not, then it's just gonna go up on Home Brewery for everyone to have. And even then, I'd want to make it like a pay what you want thing because I'm not expecting any compensation for Cursed Ones ever. Like even just like my players gifting me games is more than I ever expected. I was like, damn, I've been trying to like. I wanted to give shit to the players instead, but everyone's giving me shit, and but yeah, future, this was asked in another one of the recaps, which is like, what are you gonna do after Cursed Ones? I have no idea. But I'd love to do more stuff with this group, like definitely, hopefully more to this scale again. I don't think I can like give up on doing giant campaigns. I don't think I can live life anymore without a giant campaign running in my life. So I mean, hopefully in the future, maybe after Cursed Ones, you guys, people and such, will join me on another adventure. But in terms of Cursed Ones, we are, God, it fucking hurts to say, but we're like, we're pretty much in like the final, we're in like the final quarter. So yeah, it hits me a lot.
It's gonna feel really weird not
gonna feel
having Cursed
so weird.
Ones. Yeah.
So fucking weird. Which is like, it's probably funny hearing that to Chance, who is the newest player, having been in one session. But also, you're already feeling the brain rot.
Right.
Curse of,
my brain is rotting all the time, anyways.
Curse of
It's a
One's brain
default
rot
state.
is like a different brand, though. It's ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
I didn't expect any of this when I started the campaign, but it's gotten to like a point where I'm so fucking proud of it. Ugh. But yeah, in terms of future, the wedding, definitely look forward to the wedding. Which I'm hoping to get some familiar faces for back again, some silly little guest characters that we've missed for a while. Perhaps, you know, not to name names, but perhaps a Mulholland here and there. Perhaps a little sprinkle of Nate the Great.
Oh
Maybe,
man.
maybe a touch of Ozo. We'll see how it goes.
Oh.
But yeah, I definitely have.
Oh yeah,
other
what
plans.
happened to the clown?
I
don't
the clown
remember.
unfortunately just had to leave the campaign due to scheduling issues, but Bozo is currently living a happy retired life in Yashandale when we last referenced him. So Bozo's doing great.
Yay.
Yay! But yeah, we're gonna have to see where Curse of Ones goes. Wow. I'm real chill right now. I'm just vibing. A great way to end a long. Well, thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you, Chance and Crime, for being
I got a question.
Yeah, of
What's
course.
What's a 3-letter word for something you choose to chew?
Dumb?
Oh fuck yeah! Thank you. I'm doing the fucking New York
Shit.
Times crossword.
Crossword. We got a new old person in the house.
Oh my god. This is so fucking chill. You're just doing the crossword. If you've ever questioned my DM genius, just think about the fact that I just solved that crossword right off the top of my head.
I respect that.
That reminds me, I'll leave the people of the audience with one last tiny thing, which is a funny thing, and I want the world to know, because I think only the players know about it, and even then, I don't know if every player in the game knows about it yet. When I say that I have Curse of One's brain rot, holy shit, I am not lying. I have this phenomena.
Phenomena.
We can't do this. We're for hours. I have this phenomenon where I wake up nights before Cursed. 'Twas the night before Cursed Ones, and I wake up in the middle of the night, and I never remember it. But then I wake up and I just see a paper on my desk, and it's planning. I have planned sessions in my sleep. My level of DMing has achieved a stellar radiant level above any other function of my brain capacity. It is the only function of my brain that is elevated in any kind of way. To the point where I have achieved the status where I can fall asleep and simply wake up and have planning etched into the walls, like that one scene from Prisoners. So, yeah. In case the audience wants to know tips about how to plan D&D from a very long-term DM, the answer is, I don't know, just fucking develop sleep planning skills. And then you can just wake up and the planning's done. I don't know how it happens, it just happens, man. I've written stat blocks in my sleep. I've woken up and there's just been a whole stat card on my fucking table, and I don't know where it came from. I also write stats in class. I cannot stop. And I just want the audience to know that you'll never stop me. That's all.
Good.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys learned things about the Cursed Ones that you didn't know, and maybe, maybe are now feeling a little bit more caught up and ready to tackle The new characters, for one, because they're both incredible. The most recent session is up on Twitch and it'll be up on YouTube very soon. It's worth a watch. It's great. The character interactions are fucking amazing. And of course, I recommend just like watching a couple key sessions. Anyone that has a unique thumbnail is probably a really good one. I should really make a greatest hits playlist too. I think I'll do that.
Yes.
But sessions that I think are standout, I would definitely watch all of the solo one-shots. As well as the Halloween one-shot from last year. There's gonna be a Halloween one-shot this year that I tuned into as well, but yeah, I'm really excited for where Cursed Ones is gonna go from here. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time. You guys want to say goodbye?
Goodbye, stream.
Goodbye!
Bye.
Good night, everyone. Bye.